In a commanding and emphatic display of offensive depth, power hitting, and relentless pressure from start to finish, the Los Angeles Dodgers delivered a statement victory over the Toronto Blue Jays, dismantling their opponents 14-2 in a game that quickly evolved from a competitive early innings contest into a one-sided showcase of Major League Baseball dominance, as the Dodgers lineup erupted across the middle and late innings to overwhelm Toronto's pitching staff and silence any hopes of a comeback, turning what began as a cautiously played interleague matchup into a historic offensive explosion that will be remembered for its sheer scale of production, disciplined plate approach, and the way Los Angeles capitalized on nearly every scoring opportunity presented to them. From the very first pitch, the atmosphere hinted at a high-intensity clash, with Toronto sending their starter to the mound aiming to establish early command through fastball placement and breaking ball deception, while Los Angeles countered with an aggressive batting order designed to pressure pitchers early in counts, foul off tough deliveries, and force long innings that would eventually tax the bullpen. And that strategy began to manifest almost immediately as the Dodgers worked deep counts in the opening frame, laying off borderline pitches just outside the zone while selectively attacking anything over the plate, setting a tone that would define the entire game. Although the Blue Jays managed to contain the early damage through a combination of defensive positioning and a couple of well-timed strikeouts, it was clear even in the first inning that Los Angeles was seeing the ball exceptionally well, tracking velocity out of the hand with precision and adjusting quickly to off-speed sequencing, which soon translated into hard contact and line drives that began to find gaps in the outfield. Toronto, meanwhile, attempted to counter with small ball tactics, hoping to manufacture runs through singles, base stealing attempts, and situational hitting, but the Dodgers' defense remained sharp, cutting off potential momentum with crisp infield execution and outfield throws that kept runners from advancing into scoring position, preserving a scoreless tie early on, yet the tension was always tilted toward Los Angeles given the sustained pressure building with each at-bat. The breakthrough came in the second inning when the Dodgers finally broke through with a combination of patience and power as consecutive batters reached base through a walk and a sharply hit single, setting up a scoring opportunity that was immediately converted by a deep extra base hit into the gap, driving in multiple runs and shifting the emotional balance of the game, as the Blue Jays found themselves suddenly trailing and forced to adjust their pitching strategy earlier than planned. That early scoring burst not only put runs on the board but also altered Toronto's approach on the mound, forcing their starter to rely more heavily on secondary pitches, which the Dodgers were quick to adjust to, waiting for breaking balls that failed to drop late and punishing them with authoritative swings that sent the ball repeatedly into the outfield grass. As the innings progressed into the middle frames, Los Angeles' lineup began to operate like a perfectly synchronized machine, with each hitter contributing to sustained rallies that featured a blend of power hitting, situational awareness, and relentless pressure on Toronto's defense. And even when the Blue Jays managed to record outs, they often came at the cost of long pitch counts that further strained their bullpen preparation. By the third inning, the Dodgers had already begun to stretch their lead, adding additional runs through a combination of a towering home run to left field and a well-executed sacrifice situation that demonstrated their versatility in scoring beyond just raw power, highlighting the team's ability to adapt inning by inning depending on how the defense positioned itself, and the Blue Jays' frustration became increasingly visible as missed pitches over the heart of the plate were quickly turned into loud contact and extra base hits. Defensively, Los Angeles remained equally disciplined, with infielders maintaining steady footwork on ground balls and outfielders cutting off potential doubles with efficient angles and accurate throws, ensuring that Toronto's limited offensive opportunities were quickly neutralized. And even when the Blue Jays managed to place runners on base through a couple of singles and a hit-by-pitch scenario, the Dodgers' pitching staff responded with timely strikeouts and weak contact outs that prevented any meaningful rally from forming. The game's turning point arguably solidified in the fourth inning, when Los Angeles unleashed its most devastating offensive surge, stringing together multiple hits in succession, including a sequence of line drives and a deep two-run blast that cleared the outfield wall with authority, effectively breaking the game open and pushing the score into double-digit territory, a margin from which Toronto would struggle immensely to recover. At that stage, the Blue Jays' bullpen was already being tested, with relievers entering earlier than expected and attempting to stabilize the situation, but the Dodgers' hitters showed no signs of easing off, continuing to work counts, draw walks, and punish mistakes with disciplined aggression that reflected both preparation and in-game adaptability. Every inning thereafter seemed to bring a new wave of offensive pressure from Los Angeles, as even routine ground balls occasionally turned into infield hits due to defensive positioning shifts and the sheer speed of the runners applying pressure on the bases. And the cumulative effect was a constant expansion of the lead that eventually reached a staggering 14 runs, underscoring the totality of the Dodgers' dominance in all facets of offensive execution. While Toronto did manage to scratch across a couple of runs late in the game, including a moment of offensive relief driven by a gap double and a sacrifice fly, these efforts were ultimately symbolic rather than competitive, serving more as a reminder of their persistence than a threat to the outcome, as the Dodgers maintained control through the final innings with methodical pitching changes and defensive consistency. The bullpen performance from Los Angeles further emphasized the completeness of the victory, as relievers came in and immediately threw strikes, avoiding walks and inducing quick outs that prevented any possibility of momentum shifting back toward the Blue Jays, ensuring that the game's conclusion would reflect not just offensive superiority but also pitching discipline and bullpen reliability. Beyond the scoreboard, this 14-2 result highlighted several broader themes about the Dodgers' season trajectory.